Surprisingly simple. He tried it himself.
It really wasn't that difficult coming in that window. And often, a burglar or an intruder, if they find a safe way in, they also figure there'll be a safe way out. And if you remember, there was a suitcase that was right underneath this window. And if he figures that he has to go out this window, he may think that it would be much easier if there was something to stand on.
A new analysis of the crime scene photos shows 2 sets of footprints on the basement floor.
We have a high-tech boot that is seen in that area where JonBenet's body is found.
This is a footprint?
The first set of tracks was from a boot made by a company called High Tech. The second set couldn't be identified.
This is an unknown footwear impression. This unidentified footwear impression is not linked to anybody in the Ramsey family, and that high-tech boot, guess what? It's not linked to anybody in the family either.
So there were 2 killers in the house?
At this point, there's evidence to suggest there's more than one person.
How come nobody put this into evidence? How come this has never been revealed to the public?
Don't know. I have no idea. As an investigator, you have to ask yourself, who owns those shoes?
2 pairs of shoes. Could there have been 2 perpetrators? Remember, writing analyst James Pennebaker thought the ransom note was written by 2 people, but not necessarily the Ramseys.
If this was done by a parent, you would think that they would be under massive, massive stress. And when people are under massive stress, they make certain kinds of errors. You'd see spelling errors. You'd see more markouts.
So you're not telling me that you think it's one of the Ramseys?
It doesn't make sense, no.
This new look at the evidence raises a lot of questions and seems to back up the Ramseys' claim of innocence. By April 2003, the Ramseys' private investigators had put together a plausible theory of the crime. That one or more intruders were responsible for the death of 6-year-old JonBenet. They would have to have been familiar with the family and the layout of the house.
What people don't know is that a few days before JonBenet was killed, the Ramseys opened up their home and let people walk through it as part of a Christmas tour.
You want to see Santa's beard?
Right there. We had, my goodness, probably 1,500 to 2,000 people through our home in 2 days. But in retrospect, I often wondered if, it was just
An open invitation.
an open invitation.
It's a 6,700 square feet Tudor. It's a big house. And they invite their community because they're trustworthy. And who knows who came in there. That is an opportune time for somebody to just come in and what? Case the place. Where's her room? Where's the basement?
The open house could explain the killer's knowledge of the Ramseys' home, but there was no way to know who it was. The team turned its attention to JonBenet's beauty pageants, known to attract their share of pedophiles. 9 days before her death, JonBenet won the Little Miss Christmas competition. Could there have been a predator in the audience that day?
I talked to a woman who was considering coming on the show in shadow to talk about what she had witnessed at a beauty pageant. And what she witnessed was a gentleman who came up to JonBenet Ramsey, and when she came over to see who this guy was, the guy introduced himself as JonBenet's dad.
The woman only became suspicious after the JonBenet story broke.
And this woman realized, no, that was not JonBenet's dad. And she started to think this was a pedophile. And she started to think this was the person who killed JonBenet.
The imposter was never identified. But could potential suspects like these have been overlooked by police due to their relentless focus on the Ramseys? The private investigators believed one individual cried out for attention. In February 1997, Boulder DA Alex Hunter had broadcasted his challenge to the killer of JonBenet Ramsey.
And he says, "We know who you are. It's only a matter of time before we catch you."
Soon there will be no one on the list but you.